What is the story of how you got touched behind Walmart? It was 11 p.m. I was walking to my car after a late shift. Suddenly, I felt a hand on my shoulder. I froze in absolute terror. I turned around ready to fight. It was just a massive moth hitting my jacket. Another user says, I was tying my shoes behind the garden center. A stray cat came up and tapped my leg for food. Scared me to death. Walmart is truly a strange place after dark. Stay safe out there. My husband married our daughter, and I'm supposed to be okay with it. Let me explain before you freak out. We have a 16-year-old daughter who's been dating this boy for about a year. Last week she came home crying, saying she was pregnant. My husband's solution? Drive them to another state and get them legally married without telling me. I found out when they walked through the door with a marriage certificate. I lost my mind. Our daughter is a child. She should be worried about homework, not being someone's wife. My husband said he was protecting her reputation and giving the baby a proper family. I told him he just ruined her entire future and made everything 10 times worse. Now she's trapped with a 17-year-old boy who can barely drive. My husband thinks I'm overreacting and that this is what people used to do. I don't care what people used to do. This isn't the 1950s. Our daughter needed support and options, not a husband. He won't even apologize. Am I the asshole for being furious about this?
My sister absolutely destroyed my fiance at our engagement party, and now she's shocked I uninvited her from the wedding. During her toast, she started with normal congratulations, but then pivoted hard. She made jokes about his receding hairline, his job as a middle school teacher not being impressive, and how he's punching above his weight with me. The room went dead silent. My fiance just stood there, frozen, while people stared at their plates. She kept going for another 2 minutes. Afterwards, she claimed it was just roasting and that everyone's too sensitive. My parents are begging me to reconsider because she's my only sister and family should be there. But my fiance hasn't been the same since. He's quieter, more self-conscious, and admitted he feels humiliated every time he thinks about it. She hasn't genuinely apologized once, just keeps saying, I can't take a joke. Here's the thing. A roast requires consent from everyone involved. This was just cruel. My wedding day is supposed to celebrate our love, not include someone who publicly mocked my future husband. She had her chance to show respect and support. Instead, she chose to tear him down in front of everyone we care about. So no, she's not coming.
I meal prep every Sunday because money's tight, and I always label my food since lunches have mysteriously disappeared before. Yesterday, I went to grab my lunch, and the container was gone, completely missing. When I asked about it, my coworker laughed and said they ate it because it smelled amazing, and they assumed the label with my name was a joke. I told them that was my only lunch for the day, and that they had no right to take it. They immediately got defensive and said I was being dramatic, that sharing food is part of being a team, and that I should have just ordered takeout instead. Now half the office thinks I embarrassed them over just food, and work feels tense. So, Mitha the juror? My neighbor and I used to let our dogs play together almost every day. They'd run around, wrestle, and everything seemed fine. But recently, their dog started getting way too aggressive with mine, constantly mounting, ignoring commands, and not backing off even when my dog was clearly distressed. I brought it up politely and asked if they could keep a closer eye on things. They laughed it off and said, "That's just how dogs play." Last week it happened again, and this time my dog yelped and tried to hide behind me. That was it for me. I told my neighbor I wasn't comfortable letting them play anymore. Now they're upset, saying I'm overreacting, being dramatic, and punishing their dog for normal behavior. Things are tense, and they've stopped talking to me altogether. So, Mitha Juh for putting my dog first? My neighbor and I used to let our dogs play together almost every day.
So my social studies teacher has always been intense, super organized, zero tolerance for late work, and somehow always knows when someone's about to talk. We all thought they were just strict. Then one day, someone asked what they do outside of school. They casually said, "I'm in the Naval Reserve." Suddenly, everything made sense. The posture, the way they walk into class like they're inspecting troops, the fact that they call group work team operations. Even the seating chart feels strategic. A few days later, the fire alarm went off, and while everyone was panicking, they calmly lined us up, counted heads, and escorted us out like it was a drill they'd done 100 times before. Now the class jokes that we're not students, we're a unit. And honestly, best social studies class I've ever had.
I live with one roommate, and we've always agreed that guests are fine, but you ask first. Our apartment is small, and I work from home, so boundaries matter. One night I came home exhausted and found 3 strangers in our living room, drinking, sitting on our couch, using our stuff. My roommate hadn't texted, called, or warned me at all. I pulled them aside and asked who these people were. They said they'd met them at a bar and thought it'd be fun to keep the night going. I told them that wasn't okay and that I felt unsafe. They rolled their eyes and said I was being dramatic and ruining the vibe. After that, I stopped engaging with them completely. I don't hang out, I don't chat, and I'm looking for a new place. Now they're telling mutual friends that I'm cold, controlling, and overreacted over just guests. So, AI Tia for cutting them off? When my grandmother passed away, it hit me hard. She basically raised me. I spent weekends at her house, helped her with groceries, and was there for hospital visits when everyone else was too busy. When the will was read, I found out she left me a significant inheritance. It wasn't just money, it was her way of saying thank you for being there. That's when the problem started. A distant relative I barely speak to reached out saying, "It wasn't fair that I got so much while they got nothing." This is someone who hadn't visited my grandmother in years, never called, and didn't even come to the funeral. They said we're family and that my grandmother would have wanted me to share. They even suggested splitting it evenly to keep the peace. I told them no. I said this was my grandmother's decision, not mine to rewrite. Now they've gone around telling other relatives that I'm greedy, selfish, and letting money ruin the family. Some people are pressuring me to give them something just to be nice. I'm grieving, being guilt-tripped, and questioning myself. So, am I the J for keeping the inheritance? I've been friends with this person for years. We've shared secrets, supported each other through breakups, and I genuinely trusted them. A few weeks ago, someone pulled me aside and asked if I was okay, because apparently, my own friend had been telling people personal things about me. Stuff I told them in confidence, twisted into jokes, shared like entertainment. At first, I didn't want to believe it, but then I heard the same details from multiple people, almost word for word. So I confronted them, calmly, privately. I told them what I'd heard and asked if it was true. They didn't deny it. Instead, they said I was too sensitive, that they were just venting, and that everyone gossips sometimes. They even said I shouldn't have trusted other people over them. That's when I snapped. I told them that trust was the entire foundation of our friendship, and they'd broken it. I said I needed space. Now they're telling people I attacked them, made a big scene, and ended the friendship over harmless conversations. Mutual friends are split, and some say I should have just let it go. So, am I the J for confronting them and walking away?